Hello, my name is Randy Ripke. I'm the owner of Accurate Messages and the developer of TaskBuilder Cloud. Today we're going to talk about IntelliForms. And for me, IntelliForms are very new. I haven't really tried to use them yet. I tried experimenting some and got a little frustrated. And for the past few years, since I've been on StarTel on FlexAI, we've been using message forms successfully. My average message is, to, from, phone number, message, maybe a few other optional fields. Anyway, all stuff I could fit onto a message form. Well, my wife sold a new account last week for an insurance company. And the ideal account, weekdays, during the day, no weekends, no nights. We're just taking a message and emailing it right away to the office. So no on-call schedules, nothing unusual about it. I get the setup forms and found the unusual part was the questionnaires that we're being asked to fill out. This is an insurance company, so the caller might be applying for an auto insurance policy or a homeowner's insurance policy, or just simply calling to have a question about their account. So with all else being good about this account, I thought, okay, well, here's my chance to start using IntelliForms. So I decided to start with an IntelliForm account just from scratch and created some forms, as you can see here, and made my first mistake. When I go into the account and go to click on the message icon, I get this. And I'm like, that's not one of my IntelliForms, and my IntelliForms aren't being listed. So what's going on here? So the first thing that I figured out was you have to turn it on, and you got to click both of these. If you only click the one, you still get that generic message form. So this one takes that generic one away and goes, I guess, directly to the IntelliForms you have listed. So if I save this here now and bring up my new account and bring up a message, and there are my IntelliForms. Now the next thing I had to learn was this box right here. I had no idea what it was. Now, because I have multiple pages, I always wanted the caller's name displayed on every page. And there is a way to use a linked field and kind of copy this caller and name onto every page of the IntelliForm. Well, for me, that was kind of wasting space. So thanks to Kelly at Nationwide, I learned what this box was for. So what you do is, to use this, is over on your IntelliForm, select the field and scroll all the way down. It's the last one. It says persistent line. And if you turn on that feature, then going back to our account and bring up my message form, you notice the word caller is here already. And if I type in my name, it now shows the caller's name. So now on subsequent pages, that's a persistent field, so the agent always knows the caller's name, which is important. And it was very easy to do. And so I freed up some real estate down here for extra questions. Now, because I prefer to have the agents not scrolling up and down, I decided to keep all of my forms very short. These are a little bit wider than my old message forms, but they're still the same height up and down. So my agents, I'm trying to avoid the scrolling up and down thing. I'd rather have them go into the next page and then group similar information together, which is what I've done here. So the caller's name is always being displayed. Logical information is grouped together for the agent to ask the questions from the caller. And we go through several pages of this, and it works really nice and surprisingly easy. Pretty cool. Now the next part that was a mystery to me was, okay, how do we get these messages over to the client? There's this thing called IntelliForm reports, which again, wasn't familiar with, made me a bit nervous, didn't know how to use them. So let's go back over here now. So for every page in your IntelliForm, there's a report format. So now don't worry about this left panel just yet. I'll explain how this works later. But for each page, you can tell the system which fields to send over in the report. So you go through each page, and like on page 3, for example, I'm not sending over anything. I don't want to send over. These are instructions. This is scripting for the agent. So I never want those to go over to the client. I only want the client to see information that my agent has collected that they're asking for. Now, how do you set up these? That's over in IntelliForm reports. There's a default one that's created. I added these, and they're very easy to add. And it comes with this global one, which again we're not using, but you can define for each form which pages to send over to the client. So it sends over only pages 1 and 2, and only the information that I have check marked for the form. So now my client, luckily, is getting all email messages. So I'm really only concerned about the email report. I created this SMS one just as an example, and I'll show you the difference later, because where this comes into play is when you're distributing the emails to the client. And here's the email setting. This is where you tell it which format to use. So I'm emailing, so I'm going to use my email messages format. So luckily I'm emailing all of these. Now going back to my IntelliForm, if I were sending some by SMS, I can go through each page and say on this information, for an SMS, I don't even want that information sent. So I can tell it, page by page or field by field, which information to send via email versus SMS. So on an email message, they're getting all of this. They're getting the prompt and the value, whereas on an SMS message, they're only getting the values. I can turn off all these prompts. Now, I do want the comments sent. So I can turn these on for SMS and for email. Oops, I need to turn all these on. So there we go. Works great. We take a message, the agent presses save, which I also have on my instruction sheet. So on the last page of the form, when they're looking at this, the agent reads the information, presses save, it auto emails, auto files, job done. So I hope that helps you a little bit getting started with IntelliForms. I'm now much less afraid of them. I'm still not anxious to having to create hundreds of them to duplicate from my existing accounts, but as new accounts come along where I need to collect more information, have a multi-page message form, the IntelliForm will do it for me. So thank you for your time. I hope this helps a little bit. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to the TaskBlower channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.